Hello, MLB Pro nerds. Welcome to episode 2 of Rough Draft. My name is John Comey. With me so far, as always, is Scott Gesford. Scott, how are you?
I'm doing fine today. How are you, John?
Uh, it's a Tuesday. I mean, UConn
Mm.
men won the national championship last night, so I'm feeling real good about that. And also feeling good. Not well, obviously there it is. See, feeling good, and there goes my voice. Um, as I croak on air. Uh, Feeling good about our draft today. Maybe. So we've played 4 games. We're
Yeah.
we're four we're 4 games deep. We have just to highlight just quick around the standings. AL East Sox in the lead, 4-0. Game over the Rays. Central Twins 3-1. Game over the Royals. AL West Mariners and Astros tied at 4-1. Half a game over the Athletics. NL East Braves Phillies are tied 3-1. Half game over the Marlins. Central Reds 3-1. Game over the Brewers. And the West the Dodgers 4-1. Game over the Padres. Just give you a little snapshot of where we are. Um, Today, our draft is, of course, the overreactions draft. And this might be like even too early for an overreactions draft. This one was hard, doing it 4 games in, but here we are. Um, so, I mean, I know you thought it was hard. Like it was, I, I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, it was, it was, well, this is what we have. This is what we have today because we drafted this today. So kind of change a little format. We are going to I don't have an alternate draft today, so we're going to do the draft, and then we have a new segment that we'll do after this called Stash and Sell, which might move to the beginning of the show. I'm just doing this because what the hell, and then head to head, and then we'll get out. So early overreactions, maybe too early overreactions. I had the first round pick. I had the number 1 pick in this, and mine is the Diamondbacks are done. They're 1-4. They got swept by the Dodgers in a 4-game set. Right? I think it was a 4-game set. Yeah. Before finally winning last night in San Diego. Obviously all these are too early. So and we have a little Diamondbacks here on the head to head to end this, but it is that there's a couple things that are alarming here. Um, the front of their rotation, Andrew Morales, Lance McCullers, Jeffrey Stone. They I don't know what their ERAs respectively. Morales is at 5.14. McCullers is at a Great Depression ERA 19.29. And then Jeffrey Stone is at 7.36, and he walked 6 batters in his first start. The reason why this is concerning is these starts were in LA. And okay, you can look at Morales's whip. It's 1.0. But he also had a BABIP of 211. How do you get a 5.14 ERA with a BABIP of 211? And that's concerning. Again, Stone with the 6 walks. McCullers didn't make it out of the third in his start. He gave up 4 home runs. They're too good
Yep.
to be what they were in the first weekend, but the Dodgers don't have an overpowering offense. This stuck out to me more than the Dodgers starting undefeated.
And Morales was the only one who got out of the 5th for the Arizona in their first time through their rotation.
Yeah. I mean, it was just again, like the Dodgers aren't really a team that are going to beat you completely offensively. I mean, that's not to say they don't have good offensive players, but obviously they had Jerry McDonald, who's got 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. Like he's off to a really good start. Alex Kirilloff, who they just acquired at the end of end of 2022 from Kansas City. He's off to a really good start. But Javier Garcia only hitting 158. Kurt Franklin's only at 174. This is not how I envisioned the Diamondbacks to be starting at now 1-4, but 0-4 when I picked them because they were the overwhelming overreaction favorite for me.
Yeah, and also when Jeremy Scott's batting 250 and Vlad Guerrero is at 167, you're not going to win a whole bunch of ball games with your two studs not producing.
Oh yeah, I mean Joey Gallo has 10 strikeouts and 19 plate appearances.
Hmm.
Um, that and no walks, no walks. A guy who is supposed to be known for walks has no walks so far through 19 plate appearances. One homer, 2 runs batted in, which that's typically not good from your first baseman. Um, what's your first round pick?
My first round pick is the parity in our league this year so far because we only have one undefeated team. And how many of you would have guessed that was the Boston Red Sox with all their pitching injuries to start the year?
Yeah. Um,
And they also went up against Baltimore for the first 3 games of the season.
yeah, definitely didn't have that one. That is for sure. So what are the Sox doing well?
Oh, they're doing a lot of things pretty well. They're hitting, Todd Kuhn, Dave Allen, even Kenny Gentry is hitting the ball 364, 462 on base percentage so far. Um, so they're doing well hitting. A couple other people are struggling, but that's understandable early in the year. I'm moving over to their pitching side, and their starters ERAs, their first 4 going down the list. Garrett Cole, 6 innings, no ERA. Drew Lock, 7.2 innings, no ERA. Chris Sale, 5.2 innings, 3.18 ERA, and Logan Allen, 5.1 innings, 3.38 ERA. So when you can get your
Yeah,
starters into the 5th and 6th and 7th inning, that's good.
yeah. So far, they're tied for first in runs against. Their first in starters ERA at 1.46. Their fourth in bullpen ERA. Their first in FIP. First in pitching WAR. Tied for first in strikeouts. Second, and then defensively second in defensive efficiency, while being tied for 14th in errors. Um, yeah, their pitching is really off to a really solid start.
And their
But
closer, Robert Paulus, has 7 strikeouts and 8 batters, 2.2 innings.
yeah, and just one hit and one walk in that time frame. Um, I mean, his track record is that that's likely unsustainable.
Yes.
But um, what if this was a year that he just sort of had a rather magical season? I mean, that's why it's the overreaction pod. Um,
That's
one
right.
thing I one thing I want to point out here: should we overreact about Sawyer Cleveland? Um, here's why I say this: he's hitting 235 this year, 235, 278, 235 on the slugging. No extra base hits. He's 4 or 17. Now I know last year he was coming back from an injury. He hit 232 with 19 homers, 46 RBIs, a 20 or a 82 to 29 strikeout to walk ratio, 814 on the OPS. And the year before that, he had 297, 390, 615 in 106 plate appearances with Boston. He has never had sustained hitting elsewhere. Like before he came up in 2021, he was hitting 199, 297, 399 in Pawtucket. And then he was also hitting uh in 2020 in double A, he was hitting 172, 214, 281 in double A. Somehow failed his way upward to Pawtucket, gets under 200, and then make he found something in Boston, but he didn't put it together last year. Again, the injury is the thing. He's only 23. He's going to be 24 tomorrow. So happy birthday to Sawyer Cleveland. But is it, are we like, should I be overreacting over Sawyer Cleveland, or might this be who he is this year?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're overreacting. You might be underreacting. right? Because he has struggled. I mean, he has struck out 7 times in 17 plate appearances. Also,
Yeah,
one
his
walk.
OPS plus is 45 right now. Um, I mean, I'm sure he'll turn it around, but at the same time, um, when you are known or supposed to be known as somebody who can get walks and you have one so far, granted, only 4 games, I get it. That's why it's an overreaction pod. I'm just going to keep saying that. But
Right.
if your cleanup hitter's hitting 235 and also you're ninth in batting average, you're 10th in on base, you're 11 in OPS, you're 10th in WAR, you're 11th in WOBA, uh, your offense is not exactly like this. Looks like the Rays offense from last year because they're running well. That's something they do. They do well. They're third in base running. However the hell they come up with that thing. But this team does not necessarily seem like it is set up for long-term offensive success, and that's got to be worrying if you're a Red Sox fan because the pitching probably isn't sustainable long term.
Right, and when you don't have your projected closer and Ken Gary for 6 months, and Larson's out and Potter's out for pretty much the year, you can't expect this rotation to continue on the way it is.
Right. Right. All right, my second round pick. Alex O'Connell, Tampa Bay's Alex O'Connell is a uh, bona fide AL MVP frontrunner. Oh God. So he's hitting 462, 500, 1.154 slugging for a 1654 OPS. His OPS plus is 358. He is 6 for 13 with 2 homers, 3 RBIs. And the big thing for him is only 2 strikeouts in 13 plate appearances so far. He had 161 strikeouts last year. He had 165 in 2021. So clearly this is progress. One thing to know about O'Connell, he was leading the league in home runs through May last year, maybe even through June. He had an incredible first half, was an all-star, and then he kind of flatlined afterwards. I think he had 28 home runs going into the break last year, and he finished with 33. Obviously, the 462 is not sustainable, but he does have power that does translate. He's also young. He's only 25. If his hit tool is sustainable, not the 462, but if he becomes like a 290, 300 hitter this year with the power, I mean, if the Rays are good, he's probably the one who steps up as an MVP candidate.
And he's improved each of the last couple of years playing in the majors, which is a great sign for a 25-year-old. So, can he sustain this for the whole season? I don't know, but
No,
you know,
no, no, he can't.
well, not going to sustain the 462. Like you said, if he can get in the 290, 300 batting average and produce 40 home runs, I would say Tampa's up there in the division.
He did have an 876 OPS last year and a 140 OPS plus. He is a very capable hitter. And the Rays amazingly, they're second in runs scored in the league or in the AL. They're first in batting average at 293, which is kind of insane for this team when you see that Bobby Witt Jr. is hitting 235, O'Neill Cruz is 214, Jared Kelenic is 231, Brady McConnell is 167. I mean, a lot of that gets propped up by O'Connell's 462, by Cahill's 421, and by Nick Prado's 373. But they're also second in batting WAR. They're second in OPS. I missed that. Second in WOBA. They're second in base running. I mean, this is a very good base running team. They're low in steals right now, which probably has to get tweaked. But I mean, if we're going to have an overreaction about the Rays, it's got to be with O'Connell.
And
I
I
think.
have to tell you, I'm not surprised by the Rays start. I predicted the Rays to win the division in a shocker. So I'm
Yeah.
not surprised at all. I kind of expected some of the other people to be doing better, but that's okay. They'll get better.
Well, the Rays are still searching for a starter. I mean, they lost so far in their first 4 games. They lost Hunter Johnson 5 pitches into his first start. Now he ended up being okay, but then they lost Kevin Clancy very early in his start, and he is on the IL for 2 weeks. He only pitched 1 2/3 of his first start. You have Jeremy Benson, who made 3 starts last year. He's going tonight, and they brought up Tristan Beck to take Kevin Clancy's spot, which come June that won't happen, but that is what's happening now, and that has me worried if I'm a Rays fan that you know, Tyson Oswalt, uh, he could be somebody else that we could be overreacting about as a potential Cy Young candidate. He was arguably their best pitcher last year, and the coaching staff has identified him as their ace. And he looked at in his first start, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, got the win against Detroit. So like the pitching staff, which should be a strength for this team, might be a bit of a concern, at least in the early going while they figure out their rotation. Um, so, but the overreactions on O'Connell. What's your second round pick? I didn't get this one at all.
Now, my second round pick is connection between Rocky and Aiden. They used to be in the same division and kind of
Right.
jabbed at each other all the time. Now they're in the opposite leagues, and the way they're connected this year is the two of them have the most people on the IL already this year.
Oh, oh,
They both have 8 people on the IL this year. I just wanted to give them something else to talk to each other about and complain and fight among themselves about. Um, so the Twins, Kevin Gooseman, Lee Young, Jimmy Reyes, Julian Rivera, Richard Davis. I mean, not Dave Wilson, not like big household names. And then that are on the IL. We'll talk more about an injury from them later on. But on Aiden's side, Kumar Rocker, who I had high hopes for this year, that was going to do something well. Esteban Hernandez was on the IL. So that's just a way to keep them connected and keep them the spirit of their, going back to rivalry going.
well, I mean, you slightly buried the lead. Like Ken Cook's on the IL as well. He's out for another 5 weeks. I mean, that is a big loss. Like he was a swing guy last year, but he had 150 strikeouts on 116 and 2/3 innings. He had a 117 whip. Oddly enough, his ERA plus was only at 100, which was a little odd to me, but like I think it's because his walks were high. At 3.3 per 9 innings, like that's the one
Right.
thing with him. But he is like really good. Um, William Martin also really good last year. He had an ERA plus of 174. He is currently unknown, I think, on his, but he may be coming back anytime. I'm not really sure. He's been out since February, it looks like.
It still says recovery unknown for William Martin.
Right, right. Randy Maley was off to a good start. His diagnosis is pending. It might not be serious, but I'm not sure. Um, but he was hitting 462 in his early start to the season. And I think it's probably kind of reflected in their standings. What are they, 1 and 3? Is that right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, 1 and 3, 2 games back
Yes.
already of the Reds.
Um, yeah. So like, they're also, I mean, Juan Espinoza is 0 for 16 to start the year. Um, like that's not good news for them. Uh, they're and their ace, Jeffrey LeBlanc is quite good. Guys named Jeffrey, not off the good start so far. Um, Jeffrey LeBlanc, who is their ace, got lit up in his only start so far this season. 6 hits and 4 1/3, gave 5 earned runs, didn't walk anybody, but he gave up 2 home runs. His
Two
ERA is at
homers.
10.35. So they're the Cardinals. Yeah, they've got a lot of injuries. Not and they I don't think they have the depth to really see through a lot of those. Like another guy who's out, Jose Martinez, had a 77 strikeouts and just 42 hits in 70 innings last year. He had an ERA plus of 246. The year before that, he had an ERA plus of 254. I mean, and he's out for 2.5 months, 2 months, somewhere in there.
And their
Um,
schedule's not easy for the rest this week. I mean, they have 2 more against Atlanta, a day off, and then a 3-game set in Milwaukee, and then 3 in Colorado by next Wednesday. I mean, they
yeah,
might be
so
buried before.
I mean, they still have enough pitching talent to see through a lot of it, but also Ken Cook's not on the IL. Granted, he just got hurt, but he's not there yet. He should be there. Um, so they're playing a man down on the roster
Well,
as
and
of
Maley's not on the IL either, but we don't know how long
that's
he's out for. So
that's right.
one
So they're
pitcher
playing
and
two.
one hitter down.
Yeah, they're playing two down. Now you look at the Twins. Let me circle back to them. Um, so Copeland, I have awful intel, like because it says Copeland has heart palpitations because I don't have some things updated, which is on me.
Mine says dislocated finger.
Yeah, that's really what it is. I'm pretty sure. Um, they're probably better equipped to deal with this. Um, because I mean Copeland's only a DH at this point. Granted, he is one of the best hitters in the league. But they have enough offensive depth to get around that. I gotta see the guys who were hurt. Um,
Well, Gossman, who was a free agent signing, is still out for another 4 months. Comes over from the Angels.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he was a low. I mean, he only signed for 1.3 million, but he's somebody that they were counting on to make some starts. And now he's not there to make the starts. I mean, you also have Julian Rivera, who had 42 saves a year ago. That's a big one. He had an ERA plus of 234 last year with a 1.05 whip, 83 strikeouts, and 50 hits in 68 2/3 innings. I know Julian Rivera well, having originally drafted him. Um, but Connor Sweeney, who was expected to be a bench piece, he was taking the role 5 from the Twins. He's out for not really sure. Both teams do have some key guys, and I think the rumor was that there were players who were just sick and tired of listening to those two bitch at one another, and have decided to sabotage themselves in an effort to try and get them to shut up.
That very well could be. And, I think the Twins' biggest loss that they might have on the IL right now is Richard Davis, first baseman with some power, has been improving, but now he's out for, what is he out for? 6
6 weeks.
weeks
Yeah, he's out
with a
6
broken
weeks.
leg. So,
Yeah. I think they were counting on him a lot. He's somebody last year. He only played in 60 games. Was he hurt last year?
right.
Yeah, he did. He fractured his knee, missed 4 months, and he was hitting pretty well. 278, 358, 458, with a 119 OPS plus, 7 homers and 32 RBIs. And his strikeouts weren't terrible, 58 in 256 plate appearances. Yeah.
Maybe they have to put bubble wrap around his legs. Broken knee last year, broken leg this year. Is it the same
Oh,
leg? Is it a different leg?
I mean,
No.
yeah, yeah. Now they have One guy who could come up is Tate Hollick, who is down in AAA. He's their number one prospect. Um, I think he looks ready. He can play first base. Um, so maybe he comes up and is a bench bat for a little while. I mean, Isaac Stevenson is another one. He's a catcher, but he could provide some potential offense, or if they really need a trade for, um, some offense. Brandon Marsh down in AAA. He looks like he's somebody who could and probably should be up as additional depth pieces for them, but like they don't have a whole lot of like impactful AAA bats. So, I still think if things go south for the Twins, and it hasn't yet, they're 3-1. But if things go south, Copeland's getting on the block, and it's going to happen pretty quickly. Um, let's look at Seattle. That's my third pick. Now, I wrote the Griffith injury will sink Seattle. Gary Griffith got hurt in his first start. Where is it? He is out for a while. It doesn't
Well,
show.
he's on a 60-day DL though, so it must be a long term.
Oh yeah, his diagnosis is still pending. And it was looked at, if I remember correctly, the report was that it was a back. But again, it hasn't been released as to just what he has. But the fact they got put on the 60-day with a pending diagnosis tells me like it's serious. And in his first start, he was 4 1/3 along, gave up 3 hits, struck out 5. He was looking the part for this team. And then Francisco Lindor, he's out for 3 weeks. It's not as bad. And Andrew Hardy is taking his spot, but that's a decided step down for sure from Lindor, who 296, 399, 503, 151 OPS plus last year, had 6.6 WAR, 24 homers, 92 RBIs. That is a decided step down for 3 weeks. But Griffith is the one that, if you're going to overreact to a team that's 4-1 and currently 4th in FIP and 3rd in starters ERA, it would be the Griffith injury.
Yeah, and you had picked the Griffith injury, and I was getting ready to pick the Lindor injury on mine, so I went with something different. But Jason Castro also, who is probably going to DH for them this year, is on the IL for another 3 or 4 weeks, and his replacement is Ramon Zaragoza, who has lots of power, but average bat, but he's hitting 520, 526 right now.
Yeah, he scoffs at your average bat comment.
Yes.
Now, of course, he also is an on base of 526. Dude ain't walking. He's not walking.
No, he's up there to hit home runs.
But his strikeouts are actually down. He struck out 117 times in 330 at bats, 358 plate appearances last year. So about 1 in every 3 at bats. This year it's 4 in 19. So he's at about 1 in 5. I mean, that's tremendous for him.
He'll turn that around though. I've had him on my team before. He'll turn that strikeout rate around. It'll get horrible.
He'll improve. He'll go up, 1 in 3, 1 in 2.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Seattle, so they haven't had Lindor. He went down. Well, it says on April 1st, but because it's 10-day IL. Okay, yeah. He went down on the 1st. Castro's been out for a while. They are first in runs scored. They're first in on base. They're first in OPS, first in batting WAR, first in WOBA, tied for first in home runs, and first in base running. They're doing that with George Springer hitting 150 with a 227 OPS and a slugging percentage of 150 so far in the 3-hole. Jed McKinley's hitting 188, 278, 250 in the 4-hole. And then Evan White, he's hitting 158, 150, 263. So three of their starters are hitting like absolute garbage. Oh, I missed Jaron Kendall. He's at 167, 286, 167. He has an OPS plus of 35.
But
And
when you play a 4-game series against Cleveland, you don't need a lot of offense
ah,
to win.
yeah, maybe, but they just beat the Angels. And that's actually probably a good segue because you have your third pick.
Oh yeah, and my third pick is talking about the Angels, and are they going to get ready to panic here? You know, they're they're struggling so far early. They lost what 2 out of 3 to the A's, and now they lost their first game to Seattle. And their schedule does not get any easier. 2 more against Seattle, then a weekend series against Toronto, and then against the Nationals, and then against the red hot Boston Red Sox in Boston. And then they get a little bit of a break with the Yankees. But then it goes right back to Kansas City, and then a 4-game set with the A's, and then in the month with 3 in Milwaukee. It's not an easy stretch for them. Oops. Or did you lose me?
There we go. Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hit the wrong button. Um, if I'm an Angels fan, this is what has me breathing into a paper bag. They lost in Oakland with that pitching staff. And their pitching staff, just as I'm pulling something up here, but they're 15th in starters ERA. All right, their staff is supposed to be the arguably the deepest and the best in the majors outside of the Dodgers. But the Dodgers also is kind of top heavy.
Right.
So Kyle Funkhauser got lit up in his first start. He has a home run per 9 rate of 16.2, which is insane. His ERA plus is 12 because he's 0-1 with a 32.40 ERA. Brady Singer, that this one's more of a mirage, I think. Like I think we'll see him rebound, but like because he's got a 7.94 ERA, but he's got a 106 whip, but also a 231 BABIP. Like it's something where it's like, well, which is it here? He also gave up 2 home runs. He's got a home run 9 of 3.2. Paul Erickson-y, like that, you count on for that. But Alex Holtzen, not looking so good in his major league debut. I gave up 5 hits and 4 2/3, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 2 strikeouts, and a walk. The BABIP was good. The whip, not so much, 1.29. But these guys are giving up a lot of home runs. And that's got to be a concern.
Yeah. And if that keeps up, they're already, what are they, 1-3? The Angels?
Yeah.
Can they afford to fall too far behind Houston and Seattle and still have a chance to catch up later on?
Yeah, that is the pressure of being in this division is, the Angels are capable of going to runs, but if they're, I don't think they're 15th in FIP. I don't think they're 15th in pitching WAR, but they also have 1 home run in 4 games so far, and that's by Josh Bell. They're second in batting average. They're tied for 5th in runs scored. They're third on base percentage. They're 6th in OPS, but they're a team that thrives on power, and so far it's not been there. And with the pitching as explosive as it's been, this does have signs of is this a sustainable concern? I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I
If
mean,
they, I mean, if they win 1 out of 2 against Seattle these next 2, and Toronto takes 2 out of 3 from them over the weekend, I mean, so that puts them 1 and 1, 2 and 1, 2, 2, 2 and 3 more, that puts them at, 3 and 6, and they might be 5 games out.
right. And again, like I think it's total overreaction, which is why it got drafted. Um, I was going to draft him if you didn't, but the pitching staff does give me a little pause, at least this early. Oh, I know what I want to look up because the where's Oakland? Yeah, so Oakland, not known as a hitter's paradise. Their ballpark favors pitchers on both sides of the plate. Like it has gaps. Like you can get doubles and triples there. I mean, you're not getting home runs. Probably why they only have one home run so far. But it's I think we'll probably really learn more this weekend play um when they play Toronto, and see what happens there. Um,
Yep.
is there anything else you want to add on the Angels?
Nope, I think we've talked enough Angel Ball.
Okay, so my fourth round pick, Boston's the best team in the AL East. Um, I mean, if you're going to have an overreaction, it better include the team that is atop the all of the standings as the only undefeated team. So Boston is tied for first in runs against. For I think we went over this. They're first in starters ERA, fourth in bullpen ERA, first in FIP, first in pitching WAR, tied for first in strikeouts. Like they are um a even with the injuries, like the pitching has shown up again. Um Baltimore has a really good offense, but Boston shut him out twice, winning 5-0 on opening day and then 1-0 in 14 innings on Saturday before getting a 7-3 win on Sunday. Um, Boston, so Boston's got Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh lost a lot of their pitching depth, like what they were hanging their hat on this year.
Yeah.
That's still at home. Then they go to Detroit, and I mean, who knows if Chris Scalise's head's going to be on a pike by this weekend in Detroit.
Well, he might be traded before then or released. The way Jim goes, you never know.
Yeah. So then they go to Tampa, and I think that's where we're really going to find out if the pitching is for real. It's going to be a pitcher's series because that ballpark is god awful terrible. It's terrible. But that's a 4-game set against a team who's hitting the ball well that does seem to be reasonably made for their park. Like it's set up better for Tampa and their offense than it is for Boston and its offense. But then they get the Angels and the Twins at home. They're outside of, I could see them splitting with Tampa. I could see them winning 3 out of 4. I could see that. But they have Milwaukee and Baltimore on the road late month before being home against Cleveland. I could see them winning every single series this month except maybe the Milwaukee, like Baltimore one. Either, maybe both, maybe one of the two. But Boston's really well positioned here to make a run. And this says more, like this take is more about an overreaction on Baltimore and the Blue Jays than it is the Red Sox. I really should also go there. Toronto, 11th in runs against. They've actually been outscored in their first 4 games, 19-17. Their offense has been abysmal so far. They are an all or nothing offense. They're 12th in average, 11th in on base, 12th in OPS, 12th in WAR, 12th in WOBA. Their pitching hasn't been much better. 11th in FIP, 11th in pitching WAR, 13th in strikeouts. Um, it doesn't. Toronto has not been impressive so far, and in Baltimore, they are pretty much dead last in everything offensive. Their offense is offensive. 14th in average, 14th in on base, 14th in OPS, 14th in WAR, 14th in WOBA, tied for 11th in home runs. They're 14th in runs scored. Their pitching's been okay.
But they're sixth in base running. That's the only thing
Yeah,
they're in the top 10 for hitting.
yeah, they do run well, but like their defense has been terrible. They're 13th in defensive efficiency, 11th in zone rating, and their pitching has been fine. 9th in starters ERA, 3rd in bullpen ERA, 7th in FIP, 8th in WAR, 6th in strikeouts. But their offense was their calling card. And Boston just flat out shut them down. So maybe I'm totally overreacting on the Orioles, but there's a lot of warning signs, even just 4 games in. Alfredo Morales is the only hitter hitting over 250. He's a 294. They have Hunter Bishop is the only player on the team with a home run. He's got 2.
Well, I think we'll know a lot more about Boston, next week after the series in Tampa.
Yeah,
We'll see how
yeah,
that plays out. I mean, Pittsburgh, Detroit. I think Detroit can take 2 out of 3, or maybe they'll take 2 out of 3 against Detroit. But being in Detroit, I would probably wager that Detroit will win 2 out of the 3. And if they go into Tampa next week and Tampa wins 3 out of 4, does that mark the end of the Red Sox?
right.
With all their injuries and stuff.
Baltimore does have some get right in their schedule. Like they have the Yankees coming up at home. They have Oakland at home, and even though Oakland's 3-1, the pitching staff is suspect. Yeah, they're second in FIP, but in order to get to the bullpen that's been solid, the starters have been very inconsistent. So like the bullpens had to step up more. But they're at Chicago, they're at the White Sox, they're at Washington. Then they're home to Detroit and Boston before going on the road to Detroit. So Baltimore definitely has some get right in their schedule. We talked about Toronto's schedule on the last pod. Their schedule's brutal. They're 2-2 again, but they're currently on a 7-game road trip in Kansas City and LA in against the Angels. I'm not impressed with Toronto whatsoever.
Well, my final pick in this area was, how big of a scare was the Copeland injury to Rocky and the Twins? I know he's only out for 5 more days, but can you imagine having to replace Copeland for a month and still try to compete in the AL Central?
Not just that, but again, what if you don't get a deal done and you decide that you're going to trade him? And if he's out for 2-3 months, there goes your chance of trading him. So
Yeah.
He's the one guy that they cannot lose long term, because if they're good, he is the biggest factor offensively and why they're good. If they're not good, he's their biggest trade chip. And if they were to lose him long term, I mean, they were completely screwed.
Right.
Now,
And I can only imagine Rocky's reaction when you're watching the ticker go by on the games, and it says Copeland leaves the game with an injury.
yeah. Now, what do you think the over under date is for the Twins starting to put feelers out on a Copeland trade because he's not signing an extension.
I think he's
Um,
already kind of done that in the preseason.
oh, I know he has. I know
But
he has.
but now after this injury and you know, looking at that central division, I mean, I'll be surprised if once he gets off of the IL or I don't even know if he's going to put him on the IL for 5 days, but he's got to be putting fillers out there now because what if there's another injury?
Um, I could also see it where they ride it out. I mean, they don't. I, like, what kind of return do you get on Copeland? He has an affordable contract, 15 million. You know that's doable, but you also have the the loss cost of like what you give up to get him. Plus, you're not guaranteed to resign him. And who has the budget out? Like the one team I could see, you know what actually would probably be a match made in heaven here.
And don't say the
Um,
Angels, please.
no, 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 the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays.
Oh,
Because like if the Blue Jays are terrible, I'll just make a prediction now. If the Blue Jays are not good, um, I'm gonna say that Toronto trades for Copeland. And because they can offer a bigger return that can fit the salary parameters in Minnesota. First off,
uh, I don't think that
um,
they have the prospects.
they don't need the prospects. Minnesota, they're not going to care about prospects. They're built to win now. Like they don't want to rebuild. Like it's reload or keep the thing going. Um, if and this is also where is their salary. So, um, you could get. I think it's very possible that you could move Josh Wilcox and maybe Sean Gilmartin or Braulio Pardo for Copeland and who knows what else. Like nothing of tremendous value here.
Yeah,
But
I don't see Rocky trading Copeland. I see Rocky extending Copeland.
that's the
I mean,
thing. What if
what kind of extension are we looking at? Are we looking at 30 million a year, 35 million a year, or is he going to look at Bryce Harper and say, "I want 40"?
well, and I think that's the issue is like what if signing Copeland is not like what if that's just not a thing that can happen? Like what if Copeland's like, I'm gonna test free agency, or like other contracts, like they've got to re-sign Martin Lopez, who's making 21.2 this year. They've got Copeland, they've got Michael Sharp, they've got to re-sign, though I would guess they would let him walk. As good defensively as he has been not he's a defensive only player. Um, you got Mariano Gonzalez, uh, who is you got to resign, and he's going to command more money. You've got guys who are going to be entering arbitration. Like they only have 100, like they have 154 million tied to next year already. So do you let Lopez walk? Do you let Gonzalez walk? Or do you try to cash in on Copeland knowing that he has a body type that does not age well? He's 6'1", 260.
Yeah, that's a $24,000 question right now, right? What is Rocky going to do?
And that's why I think I would just be having a steady line of communication with Toronto. Because if you can get Wilcox as a centerpiece in a return, like because Copeland will hit in Toronto. He'll mash in Toronto. And um I don't think Toronto will mind the fact that he is a complete anchor on the base paths. Um, but Wilcox is due probably like double what he's making now, which Minnesota
Uh,
can take on. But I don't think Minnesota can take on 30 to 35 million, which is double what Copeland get. And Toronto can. Toronto can because they have so much coming off their books after this season. Like that's
Yeah,
a thing. Is like they don't have to bring back Stanton. They don't have to bring back um, Charles Cutler, he's not coming back. Lincecum, I would if like Lincecum's another guy, like, he's a favorite to get traded if Toronto is just average and um Boston sustains, or like the wild card, like if they're gonna jump ship, it's Wilcox, it's Stanton, it's Lincecum. Cutler could be traded, um, though that's like probably just a pure rental. Gil Martin could be had. Um, like Toronto can cut bait with a lot after the season. They have what, 91 million coming off their books? It's 93
something like
million.
that. Yeah.
93 million
Yeah.
come off their books. They're 232 right now. And they go to 139.6 after this year and 73 million 2 years from now. They can take on Copeland at even 40 million.
Yeah. Who else do you think could take on that kind of a contract? Not a whole bunch of teams in our league can.
No, I mean, yeah, the Angels can, but that doesn't seem to be what, like, their plan of action. Like, getting Copeland doesn't fit their culture. Um, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think they're not going to pay 30 plus million for just the DH.
Right.
I can't see that happening. After that, I honest to God, I have no idea because I don't know like who has what coming off books next year. Like Seattle, no. Their books increased by 5 million next year. They're up to 210 right now. The Braves, I couldn't possibly, the first off,
Hmm.
they actually have 40 more million on the books. And so the Braves are, no, they're at 140 on their books now. They go to 180 next year, 216 in 2025, and then 228 in 2026. They're not going to be getting Copeland. And like, even if it was to straight up for Taylor Sparks, like that could also be the other thing is, um, maybe if I'm Minnesota, I'm going hard after Taylor Sparks, so I have no idea what they could offer Atlanta to entice them. I really don't. Um, I honestly, the Rockies. Um, no, I mean the Rockies drop 20 million off their books next year. They go from 174 to 154 because Cam Gallagher's off their books, Manny Reyes is off their books. Um, if you're projecting, that he could make 30 million, maybe the Rockies are in play.
Maybe the Dodgers are in play if it's like 30.
Uh they lose 9 million off their books. I mean, I don't know how much room they have to add people. They lose, I mean, Dennis Moore comes off the books this year. Carson Fulmer comes off the books this year, but that's only 15 million. Um, they have a team option on Jose Abreu. That that could be a thing. That's possible though. Um, like
Sam Winton made a big splash with Holtzen to go with Evaldi. I mean, if he's going for it and he thinks he can put Arizona away, does he do it?
I don't think Copeland puts Arizona away because you're getting, like, how long you signing Copeland? 8 years? Like, would you be able to do a 6 year, $230 million contract to get Copeland?
Well, that's
Um,
almost 40 million a year. That would be, like you
yeah,
said, for a DH. You know, I mean, if you're a team like the Angels or Seattle or Toronto or the Yankees who have like a Boston who have astronomical budgets, maybe. But for teams like Tampa, Oakland, San Diego, who are small market teams, uh, there's no way you can do that. Oops. So, yeah, that's why I see. I don't see. I really don't see Rocky moving him. But you know, if they start falling out of it, maybe they do and trade him for a couple people for next year to keep him going.
Can you hear me now? Am I good?
Yes, I.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Yeah.
can hear
Okay,
you.
there we go. Yeah, my mic cut off for a second. So the Dodgers, like, and the reason why I say, like,
At length, and then we'll move on after this. Um, no team wants to pay Gary Copeland past the age of 35. Um, maybe 36, but nobody wants to pay him um into his age 37 or 38 season. So contract length's going to matter here, and that means uh you're going to you're going to have to jack the average value up. So I could see 40 million for him, especially if it's over 5 years. And in Dodger Stadium, like, that's the other thing, is how much would playing in Dodger Stadium impact um Copeland's bat? Now, Minnesota, their ballpark does not play well for home runs, whereas Dodger Stadium does, but Dodger Stadium is also a decided pitcher's park, like,
Right.
average wise. So you got to pick your poison there. That's the other reason why I think Toronto is the ideal fit for Copeland, because that's a hitter's park all the way through.
But like I said before, I think Sam is going all in, and I think that he really wants to see a National League team win the World Series. What better statement to make than I take Copeland and push us over the top?
Yeah, and so I could see that. I think the question then becomes, like, what's the package to get him? You have to send Abreu. Um, my guess is it's probably like Cam Collier, Brooks Lee, uh, and
Even a guy like Jonathan Stanton, who's in
like I
AAA.
yeah, I could see it might have to be like Stanton, Collier, and Lee. Um, and I mean, maybe Mike Ciani. Like, it's a really, like, how much are you willing to overpay for him? Because you're going to have to.
Yep,
Like, it's
exactly.
a really weird leverage game, because no team holds leverage here. Like, the Twins don't, because they can't really afford to sign him long term. It seems, maybe they can. It doesn't seem like it to me. Um, they also don't know, like, no team also knows if Copeland will resign to Minnesota. So if he doesn't resign him, like, if he decides not to resign Minnesota, Minnesota loses all leverage. But you also don't know if he's just going to go straight to free agency. So if you trade him, are you really going to give up a whole lot with the uncertainty that you're going to be able to sign him long term? Like, I wouldn't. Like,
Right.
I mean, I know for a fact Tampa kicked the tires on Copeland. Not a chance in the world that they're bringing Copeland on, because the cost uncertainty is too high.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised if 30 teams or 29 other teams didn't kick the tires on Copeland just to see.
Oh, I bet
Either,
they did, but that price will come down June 1st. If he hasn't signed an extension, there's a reason why. That
I
that
agree.
that so I think a lot of teams are waiting. Um, but anyway, let's move on. We have a new segment. And not really sure when we'll do this, like, in general, but it's a stash and sell segment. So we both picked a concept, really, like player, team, or really anything MLB Pro related, that we are going to stash away long term, and one that we're going to sell now. So who are you stashing long term here?
I'm stashing Jerry McDonald, the catcher from LA, the Dodgers. He's on fire this year. He's, improved from 2022 to his numbers, I just think he's for real. He's a good defensive catcher and offensive catcher. So, young kid, 2 years of experience. I'm holding on to him and, riding his coattails as long as I can.
Um, yeah, so last year, first 3 years in the league, he's been around a 750 OPS. Um, his numbers actually dipped last year. He went from 758 to 736. OPS plus went from 115 to 112. So far this year, 312, 389, 938 slugging percentage, which for somebody who's hit 20 home runs in 2021, 19 home runs last year, probably unsustainable on on that 938 slugging. He's never slugged more than 459, and that was in his rookie season in 210 plate appearances. But he's 25. This is third full season in the league. He definitely has the hit tool. He calls a very good game. His arm is kind of lacking, but I can totally see him playing well long term. That's a good stash to me. The weird thing about him, and this is just I just want to see this. Did you see what his BABIP is?
I did not.
His BABIP is 182. Explain that to me.
Oh,
How is the guy hitting
uh,
312 and has a BABIP of 182?
that
How?
that is crazy. I didn't even pull up that number, but there's no way that. I mean, you wouldn't think that there was any way that that could sustain.
I mean, it tells me that he's gonna hit better. Dang. Like, I don't know. Like, usually, like, guys with high BABIP, they come down a bit, but 182, like, that's wow. Okay. Um,
That's crazy. But yeah,
yeah.
I think he's
So
just coming into his own this year. He's maturing. He's getting into the rhythm of the majors after his third year. I can see him hitting 25 to 30 home runs, but not
yeah,
more than that. But to to call a great game on top of it is what you're looking for.
right, right, and especially with that staff, it just elevates them to another level. My stash is Taylor Sparks' agent. I know I wrote Taylor Sparks on the thing, but Taylor Sparks' agent. So Sparks, it seemed like Sparks was going to be like the next big thing. He won the 2021 NL MVP at 299, 378, 573, led the league in OPS at 952, and in WAR at 7.7, 40 homers, 100 or 108 RBIs, league leading 43 doubles. Last year, he took a dip with the rest of the Braves. His OPS dropped down to 775. His OPS plus went from 166 to 123. He only had 22 homers. Um, his walks went up to 90, but so did strikeouts from 135 to 147. So far this year, 467, 529, 733. His OPS plus is 255. He's only got a home run and 3 RBIs so far in his 17 plate appearances. However, he's 29 and he's free agent at the end of the year with a team that cannot possibly pay him.
He's playing for a contract.
Oh yeah, and the Braves cannot pay him.
No,
They
there's no
can't.
way.
Like, Sparks has been on the trading block all year. I know, just my sources tell me Tampa has been heavy in that. No idea if something would happen there. I mean, Nick Prado is kind of like the ideal first baseman in Tampa, so like that's also Garrett Griffith got traded to Seattle, so like that might have nipped that stuff in the bud. But Sparks is going to make bank, and the fact that Gary Copeland is in the free agent market potentially does not at all impact Taylor Sparks' ability to get paid, because I think for most of the teams in the league, they would sign Sparks before they sign Copeland.
And I think Sparks is going to wait and to see what Copeland gets, and then say, "I'm, that good. I should get paid
Oh,
about the same."
I think Sparks is right now the marquee free agent next year. I don't think it's Copeland. I think Sparks is the one who sets the market, because when you look at Sparks, you're also getting Gold Glove type defense, which
Yep.
but clearly is not a thing with Gary Copeland. And so you're getting a solid two-way player here. And that to me, like, before I'm checking in on Copeland on a trade, like I'm contacting the Braves and trying to get Sparks. Um, and Sparks also plays better in more ballparks than Copeland would, again, because Sparks hits for gap power. He plays excellent defense. Like, if I'm Colorado, I'm probably bending over backwards to try and get Taylor Sparks. If I'm honestly, like, I mean, I don't think they would do it, because actually, you know what? If I'm the Angels, if I'm the AOS, I'm terrified that the Angels are going to get Taylor Sparks.
Yes, I agree 100%.
That's not that's not a scenario that I think anybody wants to see. So Taylor Sparks' agent is my is my stash, because I think that guy's, or lady, is going to get paid big time. Who's your sell?
Myself, we've already talked about them quite a bit today, and that's the Boston Red Sox. They cannot keep up with this pitching that they're doing. They can't keep up winning. I think we're going to see them who they really are as we go into the Detroit and Tampa Bay series, and then the Angels the week after that. So 2 weeks from today, they may be third or fourth place, under 500.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, well, obviously have to wait and see, which is like the worst thing possible to say.
Right.
But we've talked Red Sox ad nauseum here. So yeah, I can see that. I took Jeffrey Stone, the Diamondbacks ace. He's not off to a good start. Obviously, granted, again, it's one start. But if you look at things last year, he wasn't that great last year. So he's 13-7, looks good. 3.51 ERA, looks fine. He had a 1.38 whip. And his strikeouts went from 12, like his strikeouts per nine went from 12 in 2021, which led the league, down to 7.7.
Yeah, he
And
had some shoulder problems in the summer of last year in July, and he was out for 7 weeks. So
yeah,
how much of did that take out of him?
sure. But his walks also went up a full walk last year from 2.2 to 3.2. So far, I mean, again, one start, but he walked 6 in 3 2/3. He only struck out 2. His ERA plus went from 123 to 115 2 years ago. It's at 56 here. Um, he's somebody that I am super like leery on at this point. He doesn't have overpowering speed. He's only at 93 to 95. Um, obviously he's really good at holding runners. He has an excellent curveball and excellent circle change, but his ball doesn't, there's not a whole lot of movement on his fastball or his cutter. And he's just somebody that I don't know if I'm depending on long term at this point, at least, like, obviously for this, I mean, I'm selling him. I'm just not, I'm not buying in on Jeffrey Stone. So I'm selling. Maybe I'm selling low right now, but I'm selling. Um,
Okay.
All right. We have one final segment, the our head to head. Last week, you went 3-0. We both took the under on undefeated teams, 3.5, went up at 1. Uh, you took the under on the home run leader. The over under was 3.5. You took the under. I took the over. I thought somebody got the 4. We got what, like 5 at 3, but nobody got the
Yeah.
4. And then the big 3 did not go under. The former Seattle big 3 did not go undefeated. So we both got that one. So you're 3-0. I'm 2-1. Um, so here's our head to head. We'll do this quickly. Dodgers Diamondbacks this weekend. The series in Arizona. Who wins the series? Who do you got?
I took the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are for real, and I think that pitching will, dominate Arizona once again.
All right. The thing to I'm taking the Diamondbacks because one home field, but also the Diamondbacks are 1-4, but it's not like the Dodgers were overpowering them. They're still third in the NL runs scored. They're fifth in average. They're sixth in on base, sixth in OPS. Yeah, they're eighth in WAR, but they're fifth in WOBA. They're also fourth in home runs. They didn't do all of that against the Padres last night, I don't think. It's just their pitching has been terrible, which can give me cause for concern. Here, what the Dodgers coming to town, but I think they will right the ship. I think they get 2 out of 3 there. So I took the Diamondbacks. All right, number of hitters with at least half a WAR. So 0.5 WAR. The over under on this is 14.5. Now, 11 players are at 0.5 WAR now, and 25 total are at least 0.4. So how many are you taking the over or under here?
I took the under. I, I think some people are going to slip this week and fall back down a little bit. I just don't see us getting another 3 players that are going to raise up that much. I think we're going to lose some. So I'm guessing that we're going to keep at 11 or 12, maybe 13 but I don't see us getting past 14.
All right. So there are 2 players that are at least a 0.7. I could actually see Cristoforio Fiasole, who's hitting 600 right now in Miami. He's 9 for 15. I could see him dropping below, but guys that are at 0.4, Jerry McDonald's at 0.4, Alex Kirilloff's at 0.4, Josh Lowe is at 0.4, Cade Cahill's at 0.4, Jack McNeil's at 0.4, Taylor Sparks is at 0.4, Corey Seager's at 0.4. Like I could see, and Gary Copeland's at 0.5. He's not moving. Most likely, he's not moving, so he's going to be at 0.5.
Yeah.
So I could see, enough players balancing out here. I could see it where, we get just over, like we get the 15. Like you're adding 4 more players, or at least movement, at least on this end. So I took the over. It's probably a losing proposition for me. I think I got these backwards, but whatever. And our last one, right now, the number of relievers who have at least 5 strikeouts is 31. The how many will have at least 12 strikeouts by this time next week? The over-under's at 15.5. What you got?
I took the over. I think I may lose on this one, but I think, the way strikeouts are going in our league are tending up. And hitters are striking out more often. So I think we're going to have a lot of people that are going to strike out a lot of batters this week. So I took the over. I could see us getting to 14 or, I'm sorry, it's 15.5. I could see a bunch of people getting to 16, 17, 18 strikeouts in the bullpen.
Yeah, now there's 5 who are at 9. And then there's another, well, actually, no, because a couple of those are starters. So there are 3 relievers who are at 9. There's 1 at 8, and there's 4 at 7, and then a handful at 6. So you have to assume that they're going to get the work, and then get the strikeouts on top of it. You also have to assume that Zach Birdie, who had 9 strikeouts in 4 innings, is going to continue on that. He's at a 20.2 K9 rate. Dave Bland's at a 21 K rate. Robert Paulus is at a 23.6 K9 rate. Those are unsustainable. This is one where I took the under barely. I think we'll be at 15. Like I switched this number. I think I had 13 and a half to start. I went to 15 and a half. I just feel like starters are going to be stretched out a little bit more this week. So we'll see probably maybe a little bit less bullpen usage, which would then mean less strikeouts. So I took the under. Any final words for the show today? As I know you've got a hard out, so we got to go.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Tampa Bay this week and seeing if I have a series. We have a series this weekend in Tampa Bay. So
Well,
we have a 3-game set this weekend.
who are you going to take in that one?
Hope it's me. But I don't know. Like I said, I predicted the Rays to win the division. So I hope the A's can stay hot, but I'm not sure.
The A's will miss out on Tyson Oswalt probably, but Pujo is slated to go. The decaying carcass of Carlos Meza, and then maybe Tristan Beck. I would probably take the A's in that one myself, based on that. Oh God. All right.
Well, you're going to get Strasburg, Torres, and Ian Anderson. So
okay,
we'll see.
All right. Thank you for listening to episode 2 of Rough Draft. Thank you, Scott, as always, for doing this. And for Scott, I'm Comey. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful whenever it is, wherever you are.